viewers, how are you all? I hope so. You all are great and doing well. So, I'm back with Act 1, Scene 2, Part 3 of The Tempest by William Shakespeare, right? And I expect that whatever you have studied till now in Part 2, it was all clear to each one of you, right? So, and I hope so that you must have revised as well, all that, and it will be in your mind, right? So today we'll be moving on to the same act, that is Act 1 Scene 2, and it is Part 3. Okay, so let's get going. So where do we have to start from? We have to start from here. As you can see, we will be starting from here, right? We'll be starting from Prospero's speech. Let's see what Prospero is talking about. So Prospero is speaking that being once perfected how to grant suit means here request, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that for mine I say or change them, or else new form them, having both the key of officer and office, set all hearts either stay to what tune pleased his ear, that now he was the ivy which had hid my princely trunk and sucked my venture out on it, thou attends is not, right? So what's happening here, I would like to brief you first of all that Prospero is telling a story of his past to his daughter Miranda. Actually, Miranda asks his father that what are they up to on this island, how they have reached on this island, right? So actually, when Miranda saw ship getting drowned in the sea, getting sunk in the sea, so Miranda was very apprehensive, afraid, and very concerned as well. Why? Because she's an innocent girl. She can't see people suffering like that, and although it was a artificial tempest, Miranda thought that it is a real and very and natural tempest, right? So that's why she was not able to see the condition of the people who were dying on the ship, right? So she requested her father that if you have created this tempest, so please put an end to it, right? Please stop this tempest. Please save people from dying. Actually, people were crying and they were just moving here and there in fear on the ship, right? So the scene was quite miserable, pathetic. Scene was quite heart wrenching for Miranda. So that's why. And then Prospero says that now it's the correct time that I should tell you the story that how we have landed in this island, right? So here Prospero is telling the story of his past when Prospero was banished by his own brother, right? So here Prospero is talking about that how Antonio took control of kingdom, right? So here Prospero is saying that as soon as Antonio got the hang of how to grant some requests while denying others, of figuring out which people to promote and which to hold back in order to stop them from getting too powerful, he was able to steal the people who used to be mine. He changed them, or you might say remade them thoroughly, completely. So having power over both the government and the people in the government, he could make everyone say or do whatever he wanted them to. He was like ivy. So here now Prospero compares Antonio to ivy. So ivy, first of all, ivy is a climbing plant which grows up a tree and covers it completely, and the tree dies because of lack of proper nourishment, and all the nourishment is taken by ivy, and due to lack of food it dies. So same is the case with Antonio. So Antonio was like ivy growing up a tree, and I was like the tree. So Prospero is saying that I was like the tree. He covered me entirely until I was hidden, and he sucked my vitality out of me. So here Prospero wants to tell that Prospero tells my brother, having learned how to rule kingdom, how to talk to the people, whom to promote, right? So he betrayed me, having learned all that. Antonio actually created new subjects, and he turned all my loyal subjects in his favor. So he started making them dance on his tune, and he took all on right. So in this way he became successful in betraying me. He became successful in cheating on me, right? So this is what Prospero tells to Miranda, that it happens actually, and ultimately again Prospero ensures that whether Miranda is listening to him or not. So he says that you are not listening, Miranda. Oh, my dear daughter, you are not listening. Miranda: oh, good sir, I do. Miranda: no, 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 sir, I am listening to you. You please carry on. Prospero: I pray thee, mark me. I thus neglected worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind with that which, but by being so retired, right? But by being so retired, overprized all popular rate in my false brother, awaked an evil nature, and my trust like a good parent did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, right? So here Prospero again says that I request you to be attentive to me. And why Prospero says so? Because Prospero says so that once I was inattentive like you, so what I have lost, I had lost my own kingdom Milan, and now we are on this island. We are out of our kingdom, dukedom. So it happened just because of my negligence, right? So that's why Prospero asks Miranda to be very attentive. So he says that please pay attention to me. I neglected all things related to ordinary life or politics and dedicated myself entirely, thoroughly to isolation, seclusion, in order to improve my knowledge of the topic that have more value than is commonly believed. Right? So, but by cutting myself off from the world, I willingly aroused, invoke evil in the heart of my brother. And that's very correct. Actually, Prospero said, Miranda, please be attentive. When I was not attentive, my brother got opportunity to go against me and cheated on me. The greater the trust of Prospero, the greater the faithlessness of Antonio. So that's why, and Prospero says that, yeah, and I unknowingly aroused, invoked the evil feeling in the heart of my brother. Like a good parent, like a good parent who raises a bad child, my trust in him produced the opposite effect, making him into a liar as big as my trust in him was, right? So, and he said that my trust in him had no limit, right? So actually Prospero is saying that really it was me who made my brother greedy. Why? Because I was totally ignorant of my affairs of my state of my kingdom. Rather, I was mentally and physically engrossed in studying, my library books, and I had least interest in my kingdom's affair, right? So I thought that he's my real brother. So I just gave all the control, all the power of my state in the hands of Antonio. But what did Antonio do? Antonio took undue advantage of it, and he cheated on me. He banished me from my own kingdom, Milan. Right? So Prospero says that, Prospero says, see, is my trust was, as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confident sense bound, he being thus lauded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who, having into truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory, to credit his own lie, he did believe he was indeed the Duke, out of a substitution and executing the outward phase of royalty with all prerogative, hence his ambition growing, those thou hear. right? So again, Prospero says that then what happened later on, that my confidence in him was infinite. My confidence in him was endless. Now it established, means now established in his position of power and able to use all my wealth, and whatever wealth he could use my power to take for himself. He became like a man who told a lie for so long that he began to believe it was true. He began to believe he was actually the duke. As a result of being my substitute and acting as the royal duke in public with all the duke's rights and power, his ambition began to grow, right? So actually Antonio started acting as a duke because he had control over revenue, and he has prosperous power as well. So he became more and more ambitious to be real Duke of Milan. So his ambition started rising higher. So he was actually, first of all, he was just working as a acting duke, right? Because Prospero allowed him to take control, right? But the moment he thought that now he has got power and fully control over the states, subjects, people of the kingdom, so his ambition started rising higher, and he thought that he wants to be a real Duke of Milan, right? So again, Prospero ensures that whether Miranda is listening to him or not. So he says that, do you hear what I'm saying, Miranda? Your tale, sir, would cure deafness. So Miranda says, what you are saying could cure deafness, father. Of course I hear. Your story would cure deafness. It is impossible not to hear it. The tale which you are telling, even a deaf person will be able to hear it. So father, please, you carry on. Prospero. To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough of temporal royalties. He thinks me now incapable, confederate, so dry he was far away. With the king of Naples to give him annual tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and bend the dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping. So again, Prospero says he was playing the role of being the duke. But to get rid of the last thing, separating the role he was playing from who he was, he had to become the actual Duke of Milan. He has to become the actual Duke of Milan. So he wants to remove barriers between the role which he was playing for Prospero and which he wants to play to get supreme power. So he wants to remove that hurdles, barriers, what was there between these two roles, right? So, and again, Prospero said, as for me, I was very fool. I was like poor fool that I was, right. So my library was as large as dukedom as I wanted. Having decided that, I was unable to run or rule my city, my state, my kingdom. I became so thirsty, means Antonio became so thirsty for power that he secretly came in contact with King of Naples, Alonso, to get rid of me. In return, Antonio agreed to pay the King of Naples a certain amount of money every year. So this is annual tax. So Antonio got ready to pay King of Naples Alonso annual tax, right? And in return, right, so he is going to have help from Alonso, King of Naples, in order to banish Prospero from Milan. To swear, right? So he actually, right? So here, Antonio agreed to pay the King of Naples a certain amount of money every year, right? So to swear to obey him and to force his dukedom, which had always been independent. Oh, poor Milan. Here, Prospero is expressing his, grief, sadness. Oh, poor Milan, into shameful position of being under Naples' control. So Prospero says that before Milan was quite free, independent, I had a control over my Milan, but your uncle, my own brother Antonio, betrayed me, cheated on me. He banished me from there, and we landed in this island. So now my Milan is under control of Naples. So Milan is in shameful position now. So Miranda, right? So Miranda is speaking that Miranda is saying, "Oh, oh, the heavens!" So Miranda say, "How sad indeed, oh God." So Miranda is very sad to hear it. So Miranda is expressing her sorrow, grief that, oh my father, whatever has happened is really miserable, pathetic, very, disappointing and frustrating. So Prospero, mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother. So again, Prospero ensures it by asking Miranda that think about this, right? So Prospero said, think about this. He came in contact with King Alonso and about what happened as a consequence of it. So then tell me if Antonio can really be thought of as a brother. Antonio can be my brother, whatever Antonio, your uncle, has done with us. Can you call this man as your uncle? So, so should I just call this man as my real brother? So Prospero is just ensuring it. So Miranda says, I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons. So Miranda says, I would be wicked. Means if I want to say something, so I would be wicked if I had anything other than good thoughts about my grandmother. But good women sometimes give birth to bad sons. Right. So Miranda says that Miranda says derogatory, very derogatory comments, remarks that it would be wrong to say for me to think of my grandmother that my grandmother had given birth to bad sons. So good women sometimes give birth to bad sons, right? So Prospero, now the condition, the king of Naples being an enemy to me in what trait hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently ask to pay me and mine out of the dukedom and confer fair Milan with all the honors on my brother, whereon a treacherous arm levied one midnight, fated to the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and I, the dead of darkness, the ministers, agents, army for the purpose, hurried then me and thy crying self. Right. So again, Prospero says that now listen to outcome of this secret alliance. Miranda, now listen to me. Please be attentive and now listen to repercussion, consequence of this secret alliance. When Antonio came in contact with Alonso, king of Naples, so what was the outcome of this secret alliance? The king of Naples, who had always been an enemy of mine, listened to my brother's request. Antonio asked that the king, in return for his oath of loyalty and how much money he paid to the king each year, would immediately remove me and all of my immediate family from Milan and then give the dukedom to my brother. So it happened. So then they raised an army to pull off this treachery. Right. So actually, before Antonio promised to pay annual tax to king of Alonso, right? Why? Because Alonso will be helping Antonio for banishing Milan and his family from for banishing Prospero and his family from Milan, right? So for that, what did they do? They raised an army to pull off this treachery. So what exactly happened after that? At midnight on the date, they had chosen to act. So when they preferred to act, they had so at the midnight on the date they had chosen to act. Antonio opened the gates of Milan, and in the deep darkness, he had army agents. He had chosen for the job to rush me and you from Milan. And Miranda, at the time you were crying. You were crying at the time, so it is very natural. At the time, Miranda was not even 3 years old, right? So it's natural that babies cry of this age, right? So it exactly happens. So Prospero tells the outcome, repercussion, consequence of the secret alliance, right? So it is enough for today, right? So that's it. I hope so. Part 3 is clear to each one of you, right? So please revise it again and again frequently, and you need to try to get it. Okay, the more you revise, the more and better you will understand, comprehend, right? So I will come back with part 4 of Act 1 Scene 2, as Act 1 Scene 2 is quite very long and lengthy. So that's why I thought of explicating this Act 1 Scene 2 in parts, so that you could get it better, so that it could not go out of your mind, right? So that's why I'm just coming up with parts. Okay, so please come back again to just watch part 4 of Act 1 Scene 2, and please viewers, do subscribe my YouTube channel, and if you have liked my video, please like the video and share my video as well, and don't forget to press bell icon, because in this way you will get notification of my new videos first of all. Okay, take care everybody.